So Ryan, what do you know? What's happening in the world of Plymouth Argyle and football?
What do I know? Let me tell you. I know a lot, but not for you. No, look, it's all good. It's quite relaxed. We're trying to move on. We're going through stages. We've just completed stage 1 in terms of the players re-signing, and obviously a couple who've moved on. But we'll move on to stage 2. But as I say, I'll always tell you that we'll keep it in-house, because I can't come out and say we're trying to do this, we're trying to do that. But I think everyone knows, and you guys know, that we're trying to build a competitive squad for next season, and that will take time because of all the uncertainty in football at the moment.
Callum McFadden, you mentioned on Saturday, was being given a bit of extra time to make his mind up. Are you suggesting there that he might have decided to leave?
He hasn't told me he's not, but he also hasn't told me he is. So again, look, in terms of the stages, we're quite comfortable with it. We're quite happy where we're at. We've got to give Fads a little bit of time in terms of what he wants. I'm sure if he didn't want to, he'd have just told me, look, Gaffer, it's not going to happen, and move on. I haven't spoken to him for a week or so I probably will contact him in the next few days, and then we'll decide from there. But again, look, we've already got options for them areas if Fads doesn't commit. But again, as I said before, we love Fads. He's a quality player. He's done great for us over the past 2 years he's been with us. But we've got to have players who are fully committed to this job, not half committed. And the last thing I'd want is a player down here who's not committed to the cause, and that won't happen. And I think that's what he's potentially a little bit worried about. He doesn't want to let us down. So look, we'll wait for the call on that. As I say, he's not long just had a baby, and he needs a bit of time with his family.
So do you need to know by a certain point in time?
I don't really, because we've got, as I say, we're going to be on the movement of stage 2 pretty soon, potentially next week. So once we've started implementing stage 2, that's when I'll probably make pushing for an answer. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to close the door on him, because he's such a good player. And I think he doesn't want to close the door. I'm sure there'll be plenty of other managers and other clubs that are interested in Fads. But I think one thing we know about him and what he is for us and what he has been for us, he's an honest person. And the minute he's got something lined up or sorted elsewhere, whether that's here or somewhere else, I think he's the type of lad to tell us.
Looking at your squad, I think you've got about 16 if you include the first year pros. Yeah. What sort of squad size would you be looking to work for, do you think?
You should be telling me that.
I shouldn't be telling you.
You should be.
Well,
you told us what we need, what positions we're looking for, what positions we need, what players we need. Yeah?
I'm glad you read it.
I always read it. I'm there to shoot you down straight away. No, again, I think we know that, with the uncertainty in football at the moment, we can't just go all gung-go and sign a load of players, because who's paying for it? At the end of the day, we've got to wait until we've finally been told when we're playing, when the games are going to start, when there's fans going to be through the door. We know the chairman and Simon Allen's invested a lot of money, so we have to be cautious that we can't just go and spend money that potentially might not be there. But we know what we need. We've been recruiting since January, as I said last time. The players we want, the players we've identified, the players we've kept. One thing I'm happy about, we've got a squad anyway. We've got at least 16, 17 players if the season's to start next week. But we'll keep looking, we'll keep working. The recruitment policy stays the same in terms of what type of player we need. And we've got 1, 2 and 3. So we'll try for 1 when we can. And if that doesn't work, we'll go 2. And if that doesn't work, we'll go 3. And every single one of them players are more than capable of representing Plymouth Argyle and playing in League 1.
Stage 2 is signing new players?
Yeah, stage 2 will be signing new players, yeah. But again, we probably need to wait in terms of a time scale of, when the EFL come and say, right, you're playing that date, you come back to pre-season that date, and then maybe fans coming through the door, because we've got to obviously respect the owner in terms of the money he's put in the club, and when we can do it, we've got money, but we've got to be reasonable. We've got to do it the right way, and from above right the way down to me and my staff, we'll make sure we do it the right way.
Do you think clubs are going to be in a strong position to set wages and salaries to players because of the circumstances at the moment?
Could it be in a strong or not?
The club will be in a strong position.
We're in a fantastic position. Simon's already said that, but what we have to do is we have to make sure that if they say to us now, well, you're not going to be playing football until January, for argument's sake, well, we can't sign players tomorrow or next week because we'll be paying them for 3 or 4 months before. So we've got to be cautious with all that, and we are. We're from the top to me and my staff. I think we're on the same page. We're doing the right things. I think, there's not been many signings from many football clubs, has there? I think every football club is in the same position, waiting for the news. I think what'll happen is, I think it'll be like, I don't know, it'll be a bit crazy once they know the dates, because then everyone will be rushing to sign players. We're not. We're in contact with the agents and potential players who are out of contract. Talks are already ongoing, but we can't just go for the kill, if you like, just yet until we know the circumstances of when we're going to be playing football.
Have you any idea when the season will start at the moment? Has anybody said anything to you
No,
to
mate,
give you an indication?
We're still waiting. Listen, everyone's guessing around certain dates, but we've just scenario planned. Obviously, John Lucas has had a programme sent out to all the players now, which Kaz is over there. You should be doing it. What are you doing? You should be at working hard. And then we'll just keep in touch with all the players as we do. We're in dialogue with them all the time. The minute we get a date, they'll get a date to report back. We're all set. The pitches are great. The training pitches are great. The facilities are ready to go. So as soon as we get the go ahead, we'll know when we can come back.
What do you want the players to be doing at the moment, or what does John want them to be doing at the moment?
Well, they've got programmes. They've got like programmes of what they should be doing, and listen, it's nothing crazy. It's just ticking them over. So when they come back, they're right, they're in good shape, and the body fats are down and everything else, and it's a big part of it. And just to tick over. So when they do come back, there's not many injuries coming back. You know, we had a situation last season with a couple of the players who we signed late on who didn't do a pre-season, and they struggled. If you look at all the other players who've done a full pre-season, we never had many injuries in that department. The only injuries we had was ones who come to us late, and we certainly don't want that again. Hence, we want to make sure that the players will want to sign as well there with us from day dot. And they'll just be doing, core stretches, core exercises, a lot of stretching, runs, swimming, whatever John's put on the programme. I'm sure it'll be fine for them to do. They come back in good condition.
You've obviously seen a lot of the football games that have been played so far since football restarted with no fans inside. Have you got any thoughts about when football comes back, whether there will be some fans inside the ground, or whether there won't be? Or how do you feel about that starting maybe in September with some fans inside the ground, for example?
Yeah, as long as there's some fans in. I'm not a big believer of having none, really. I as you say, I've watched the games, and it doesn't seem, it's not great, is it really? Let's have it right. It's I know there's been a lot of like reporters and stuff in. I think I watched the Cheltenham Northampton game. I think that stand was nearly full behind the dugouts. There was a lot of people in there, all managers and everything, reporters. But I think for us, because of our fan base, we want them in as quick as we possibly can, because it is an advantage, isn't it? Teams who are playing away now, there's no disadvantage and no advantage. Do I think fans will be in when the season starts? I generally feel they will now, yeah. I think gradually it's getting better and better. Whether that's 18,000, I'm not so sure, but I think they will potentially be, whether it's 25%, 30%, 40%, I'm sure they will. Because I think our ground's big enough as well. I think it'll depend on what type of ground it is. So for us, I think you could probably space 4,000 or 5,000 out in this ground easily, couldn't you? Yeah. That's what we're open for. Listen, we're open for full stadiums really, but if it's 4,000 or 5,000, then we'll take it, as long as there's fans in the ground.
You had Alex Palmer, Torrey Backinson, George Cooper and Ryan Hardy on loan last season. I asked you about them the last time we were here, and you sounded, you'd be keen on all of them in the right circumstances. Have you had any discussions about any of those 4 players in particular? Yeah, we have, of course we have, yeah. We're not going to lie. I think Alex, we won't, he's just signed a new 3-year contract, I think, and fair play to him. I spoke to Alex the other day, and for me, you could see him on the bench in the Premier League next season, because he was that good this season, hence they've signed him on a 3-year contract. Will he potentially go out on loan again and maybe bypass League One? Possibly. So, look, I think Alex will, he's the first one to say he loved it here. We've developed, and the message back to me was,
only for us he wouldn't have signed the contract, because we sort of give him a chance, and you know, he's done what he's done, and by far probably the best keeper in the league for me. So I can't see us getting Alex Palmer back, but listen, we've got a terrific young keeper in Mike Cooper, and we do need another keeper. Obviously we're looking, but for Mike to go and fill Alex's shoes, there's no question that he can do it. Ryan Hardy, yeah, we're potentially, you know, in discussions to try and potentially do something, but whether we can or what is it remains to be seen. Tyreek Bateson, again, he loved it here. You know, one thing I did speak to Lee is when the season finished, I wished them all the best in the next 9 games. That was when they were back in, and one thing I did say is if Tyreek's available again, we'd love to have him. So, and George, I don't really want to comment on the George one, because I don't want any speculation that, you know, they're saying that we have to pay a certain amount of money. George loved it here, he'd love to play for us, but he's contracted to Peterborough United. It's up to them what they want to do with him. If they're asking for silly money, then I'm sure the kid will have to stay there and potentially play in the reserves again for the season maybe, or whether he gets an opportunity. I can't see it. The kid's desperate to play football. I'd like to think we'd be the first phone call if he was available.
Okay, thank you. Ryan, you said about your stages. Just rate stage 1. How do you think that's gone overall?
Good, yeah. Well, yeah. Listen, again, out the 10 players, there's obviously we're still waiting on McFadden. We have to give him the time. He's a quality player. As I said before, he's just got a new baby and family. He's spending some time. Sars is a family decision as well. We didn't want, you know, anyone who weren't going to be happy here. He's done his bit for the football club, been fantastic. The 3.5 years, played the year, scored 12 goals or so. Was 12 or 14? 12. And had a great season. But as I've always said, you know, there's more players in line to just replace them. I said Sars was terrific. Fads was terrific. If, you know, Fads decides to move on, then we'll look for a replacement, as we've got in the pipeline. And Sars has, you know, moved on, and we've got a replacement lined up. So I think stage 1 was excellent, really, because you know, for the commitment to the boys to show back to us that they wanted to first and foremost get back to League One. Now they're in there, for us to reward them with a contract is great, and it shows that they wanted to be here with us. They know what we're about, they know what the football club's about, and I was happy when they all committed.
Just on stage 2, obviously last year you had as Chris alluded to, loan players here. What would you be looking to do? Permanent signings, loan signing, a mixture of the both?
What were the ones we had last year, the loan ones?
No, I mean, what would you say stage 2 is obviously going to be signing new players. Are you going to be looking at permanent deals with players, loans, or a bit of a mixture of both?
Yeah, well, we've got to get to stage 4. We've got 4 stages. So I think that to answer that question bluntly is stage 4 will be loan signings, because that'll be the last one. So we've got to go through stages, which the club are happy for us to do that, and we're happy to do that. We've come to a collective decision how we do that, because listen, if stage 2 can get completed when we know when there's going to be fans in the stadium, and then if they say 50% and then next month they say 100%, well, stage 3 and 4 could be get done like that. So we've got to be careful how we do it, but I think the loan lads will be probably stage 4. And most of the time when you sign a loan players, they come later on anyway, don't they? Because they go back to the parent clubs or the clubs where they're at, and if they don't get a chance in pre-season, then you know that they're potentially not going to play all the start of the season, so they want to get moving, and I think that'll be the case.
It's the exciting thing that some of the players, certainly some of the players you brought in last year, the ones from Bury, maybe you haven't seen the best of them yet. Is that an exciting thing for the supporters going forward? I mean, Will Aimson was one. You told me that he could play in the Championship. Yeah. He had his problems with injury. Yeah. There's others like him. Dom Telford didn't play as much through injury. Yeah. Is it exciting that you've got a players with a lot of potential?
Well, they're like new signings for us, aren't they? Especially Will. You know, we're excited to see what Will can give us. Obviously, he's got to have a different type of pre-season. He's been working off-season right the way through, and he's got a programme of Dave and John. He's looking in good condition and is working hard. The injury sort of settled down a lot. He can do a lot more stuff, and Dom's been doing an off-season programme also, and yet they are going to be like 2 new signings, because Dom for me is a goal machine. He's probably one of the best finishers at the football club. Yeah, we didn't see the best of him because of injuries again, as I said, and Will. So, you know, I think Danny, Byron, you know, and Fads, they all done what we expected to do. So I think for Dom and Will, big seasons ahead, but also big pre-seasons, because I think you know, that the players were looking to recoup and sign is, you know, they're not just coming here to sit on the bench, they're coming here to play. So I think every player, every member of the squad who are here, are going to have someone else breathing down the neck. It's going to be competitive, and that's what we want. So Dom and Will, you know, they suffered last year with injuries. They're the same. They've got to have a good, real good pre-season to get anywhere near the starting 11, and I'm sure they will.
Obviously, we don't know when the season's going to start. You've most definitely got one eye on next season. What are you expecting in League One to bring compared to what you've had in League Two?
Well, I'm hoping there's not many long throws. You know what, we're hoping it's going to be a footballing league, really. Again, I think we don't know who's coming down just yet. We know Northampton have gone up, so we'll plan accordingly for that type of game. But in terms of, you know, we're looking forward to coming. Listen, you know, people say to me, what are you going to do when you go to Sunderland? Well, we're going to go to Sunderland and play football, because that's what they want to see, that's what we want to see, and that's what they'll do potentially. Ipswich, what are you going to do at Ipswich? Well, we're going to go to Ipswich and play football, and we're going to, because I think in League One you obviously get a lot more football. League Two, you get teams that do play football, but teams that also have Route 1 agendas and, you know, play for percentages and second balls. That's fine, that's just the way teams play. But for us, we're expecting a good footballing league. But one thing I can say is we're not just in it to make the numbers up. You know, we're in it to be competitive, and that's what we'll do. Because we feel, you know, the teams we played last season in League One, you know, we were quite good against them. The season before, same style of play. We've come up against League One teams before and held our own, so there's no reason why we won't do it again.
And just finally, do you think because of the size of the club, size of the fan base, though you've gone up, you'll be considered one of the big clubs in that division? You'll be considered a scout? You've talked about teams like Sunderland and Ipswich. People outside of this club will put you in the same bracket as that. Does that put any more pressure on you?
Not more pressure on me.
Well, yeah, pressure on you.
No, we are a big club. We knew we were a big club from day one when we come down here. Yeah, we will be a scalp to some teams. You know, I've already spoke to a few lads who were playing in League One, and they're looking forward to coming down here because they know it'll be packed to the rafters. They know it'll be a nice pitch. They'll know it'll be good football. So listen, we're looking forward to just as much as people who I've spoke to in League One. And we will be a scalp because people will know the type of football we play. They'll want to come here and beat us. But again, we want to make it a fortress like we did last season. We lost twice at home. We want to try and do the same. But ultimately, we're just looking forward to being back in League One, where I feel the football club, and we certainly deserve to be for now.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ryan. Cheers.
Has it been a frustrating spell for you in that you just can't get going, can you?
What now?
Yeah.
Been a great off season, hasn't it? Early on it was, Rossi, yeah, it was a bit frustrating when we didn't know what was happening, but now we do. Yeah, listen, it's been frustrating that we can't celebrate with the families and the fans on the pitch and everyone associated, and and do what we set out to do and potentially win the league on the pitch and get promoted on the pitch with the fans. But look, we can't do nothing about that, can we? I think we've adapted quite well to it. The lads have all enjoyed it. They'll be getting the medals over the next few days, and as you can see here, the champagnes have come. They're not quite popped yet, but I think the realism now is we're being promoted. We're in League One. People say, have you had time to reflect? Well, no, we haven't really. Me, Shuey, Neil and Jimmy were around mine last night having a Chinese and a couple of drinks to discuss how we go with the future and where we go with it and the type of players we need, what we can expect. Everything that comes with it is, to discuss and plan, and we've been planning for probably since Christmas time now. Is it frustrating we can't get signing after signing after signing? Well, I'm not too sure that's going to be the case this season. I think it's going to be in stages. Most clubs will be doing it in stages, so possibly not. No, it's been quite calm, relaxed, and in terms of frustration, it's not been too bad, to be honest with you.
And what about pre-season? That you've said you were Shuey and the boys last night. Do you already envisage how that will take place? I.e., will you have pre-season friendlies behind closed doors?
I think what we might have to do, depending on, again, we're just talking about it a little bit in terms of we might have to play a majority of the pre-season games at home park potentially. just because it's bigger and spacious and everything will be clean properly, like the protocols from the EFL, what you have to do and how you have to do it is, I think, you know, we couldn't ask Plymouth Parkway to do all these protocols, and you know, but here we probably could, so maybe we look to probably have them here at our own park. Do we want to venture out to all the non-league clubs and play them and generate them loads of money? 100% we do. Can we do that? We don't know, we'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping we can. We'll potentially, you know, spoke to Leah Parkway and Stuart Tavistock. We potentially want to help them out as much as we can. Is it worth us going up there if they can't generate no money? Probably not. Is it worth them potentially coming to play our own park where they may never play? Potentially, yeah. So I think we'll adapt to whatever everything we have to do in terms of the games. Can I see majority of them playing their own park? Possibly. If they relax it and there's fans that can go through the door, listen, we'd love to bring another, how many were at Plymouth Parkway? 1,200 last season? We'd love to bring the 1,200 fans and a couple of hundred of theirs and generate them 40-50 grand. 100% we would, but maybe the government might not allow it, so we'll have to wait and see. But in terms of the programmes, we are looking to play games wherever that may be pre-season, because you're going to need them.
Excellent, thank you very much.
No problem.
Suggestions for next season have included cutting out the cup games completely.
So what was that? Sorry.
Sorry, for next season,
Yeah.
if they say if you're going to start late,
Yeah.
they suggested cutting out the cup games, FA Cup, League Cup, whatever. What would your feelings be on that if you just had the league to concentrate on?
No, I don't think you can cut them out. So the FA Cup's back playing now, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think they'll cut any cup competitions out.
Yeah, this was if they were going to start late, so if they can't start in September to get the season done in time.
I don't know. I'm not too sure. I can't see that happening. I think every cup competition will be fulfilled because it generates money, doesn't it? FA Cup, special cup, it's the best cup in the world, really. Especially in England for me. I know they have the Premier League and whatever else, but the FA Cup's the whole tradition, you know, to potentially go to Anfield again and beat them this time and not throw at them. So I can't see that. But if that was the case and we had to concentrate on the league games, we'd do that. But I think they'll definitely play the games, definitely.